Alright, hey guys, welcome to the week 3 videos. This time around we're going to be looking at the infrared and solarization images that you made. This time around, did I just say that? For this video, your group is Guillermo, DJ, Melissa, and Sherry. I don't know why I said them out of order. Yes, I do, because I started on the wrong one. Anyway, don't mind me. Already off to a strange start. Alright, so let's start off by looking at Sherry's work here. Alright, so some beach images, and I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing here. We got some good elements going, although they do look, some of them look kind of dark. More so than just like some look like dark, like dramatic, like stylized, and some of them just look like just a little on the dark side, just a hair dark. Excuse me. Oh, weird. Just noticed that you reversed this image. The text is reversed. That's okay. Yeah, I feel like these are, like, my first impression of these is that they are very strong formally, like they feel well put together, well considered. I'm thinking about, sort of composition, framing, and sort of different devices that you use. They just feel like, yeah, they're really well put together. This I find really nice. As this, that's a little dark on dark, but I do like that. As I also like what's happening here with the repeated form. So a visual rhythm happening there. I also like this. This I think is really cool. Something about depth of field there, I think, and again, this sort of, it's almost like syncopated, like there's sort of a rhythm to it, but it's like this bizarre kind of interrupted rhythm that I really like. Again, some sort of same things happening there with these shapes, and then sort of these bits of water coming in there that I'm liking. What else did you want to appear for these ones? This is nice. This reminds me of when I lived in Florida. Except I'm pretty sure this is north of where I lived, but same kind of thing. Lots of beach, some skyscrapers. Alright, hey, good, I like this image. I've forgotten which ones you used here. So, infrared. I think that's really cool as an infrared. It's funny because it almost looks like it's like solar. I don't know. Okay. It almost looks solarized just based on, like, some of the sort of things that are happening here. I don't know. I'm really on the border because, like, some of these, it really does have some areas that look like it is solarized, and yet things like this are making me think that it's not, that it's just the infrared effect is affecting this strangely. The darkness of the background, I think, is part of what's doing it, but that would be infrared. And also the lightness here, but infrared would do that as well. Very interesting. And that's definitely solarized. That's a cool effect as well. I like a lot of what you're doing here, Sherry. Just like a lot of what we saw from you last week, these are really strong formally, just really well put together images. So I like that. Nice job once again. We're kind of on a hot streak. Alright, so next up, we're going to look at Guillermo's work. And he has some really kind of cool and interesting images too. I like the use of color here. Stupid thing. like it sort of permanently. Part of what I was thinking about here, I'm sorry. Alright, go away, hopefully not return ever again. Part of what I was thinking about as I was looking at some of your images was the work of Martin Parr, who is an English photographer, sort of a fine art / documentary photographer, and he has lots of images of like food, like people eating food, which is part of it, and part of it is that a lot of his images have like these sort of color palette similar to this. So that's a good thing. He's actually one of my favorite photographers, so I really like his work a lot. So I would say that's high praise to be compared to Martin Parr. And we're seeing some of the stuff also that we saw from him last week. The kids and sort of some domestic scenes, some really good use of depth of field, specifically shallow depth of field. So yeah, nice work. I can't quite make out what this. Okay, it's like a Bible verse inside the hand card. Interesting. I didn't actually do that in my neck of the woods, but that's really interesting. And sorry, I'm kind of looking at these and trying to talk at the same time doesn't always equate. Oh, this is cool. Zoom out here just a little bit. Here's them posing next to the lizard. I like that. Again, fun. I like fun images. I just, I just enjoy when people can add sort of a little bit of personality, a little bit of sort of a whimsical element into their photography. I like that too. Like something like this is just, that's fun, and it's not really the sort of thing that you see a lot, but I like that. I feel like, they do have like definitely like a very, there's a lot of sort of domestic feeling to them, being at home, photographing at home, but there's also sort of a loving attention to a lot of it. That's kind of fun. That I find really appealing. Alright, so I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit so we can see the full image. Zoom back in. Okay. So the original. Oh, that worked out good again. And that looks like infrared to me. Let's see what this thing has to say. Oh, okay, you didn't label it. So, original, infrared, I'm assuming, that looks like infrared. This sort of thing happening here. And then, this little guy. Whoa. Man, I feel like I haven't seen this before, but it's a really bizarre effect to get there. Funny thing is, you can see, I think that's a reflection of you in his eye. You can see it a lot better when it's not inverted but solarized. Very cool. That's a weird effect. It's funny. I wanted to scroll back up to here because I want to just say, like, this is sort of more of where you tend to see the infrared happening. Although these, anything that's like real green, yeah, like that. This is right, but this should really be like almost white too. Green things tend to get really strange color shifts in the with the infrared. So a lot of times you do see them outside like this, and the like all the green stuff goes really white. That's really bizarre. But again, I feel like you have made some really interesting images, and like some images that feel very warm, sort of a real genuineness to them, sort of just documenting, sort of the domestic life, but in a way that's really affectionate, that I really enjoyed on this assignment. So there's side by side. All right. Well, thank you. Next up here, we're going to be looking at DJ's work. And I don't know if it's just all the comments, me telling DJ just about how every image he takes makes me want to go to Hawaii, but this was another group that really had a lot of images that were like that. But yeah, I liked in these sort of this feeling of just like having fun, hanging out. And this is, I mean, this is a, I know you worked the scene a bunch of times, but I thought this was a really cool sort of vantage point. It's kind of low down with a real wide lens. I thought that was fun. It has like you can see like there's really a ton of sort of even though like all the elements are fairly static, there's like this something about this coiled muscle that feels like anticipation of like a lot of energy about to be expended to really kick that thing into orbit. You know, there's sort of like all these images kind of feel like guys outside goofing off somewhere where the weather's really nice and there's the ocean all around. I mean, I can't really complain. I lived in Florida for several years, so it wasn't like I didn't get a lot of this. It's just, I don't know. It's winter here. It's really cold and crappy and slushy and icy and all that, so let's forgive me. And this, I think, is another one where this kind of has that same thing with the kicking of the ball image, where there's like, you have this feeling, even though there a lot of the elements are kind of static, you have this feeling of like potential kinetic energy where this ball is just going to go straight up. And there are little things like, you know, sort of some triangles here, and you know, like these sort of bent knee things that give you that, but it was really interesting. But this was kind of cool too. I think this version more, just because I like the partial silhouette and sort of what happens to the sky there. So let's actually take a look at these images. I'm going to zoom out here, even though I'd already zoomed out some. I thought this was a cool use of the effect of the. What is that? It looks like what that looks like is the solarization to me, but let's see, it's only happening on the background. Okay, that must be solar resistant because this definitely looks like infrared. You know, I didn't specifically say I think that you had to solarize the whole thing. I think that's a cool effect, actually. I'm sorry. Although it does look like he did just solarize the. Well, there's some on the ball too, but it should, you know, like a normal solarization, there'd be more in the background. I mean, the more I look at it, the more I'm seeing little stuff. It may just be that. You know, cause I'm seeing it here, I'm seeing it there. Yeah, maybe that's just was not necessarily just on the background. It just looks like, okay, so this must just be. Oh, guys, forgive me. I looked like he just selected the background and did it, but I'm seeing more and more little detail areas where it looks like you did just do the whole thing. But I like this effect. It's like really weird, like these sort of look like these dramatic storm clouds, and there's this weird yellow going on there. I like that. I dig it. And then this, again, looks more like your sort of traditional infrared, where you can see just between like the grass, what it looks like here, you know, just straight black and white conversion, versus like this sort of weird thing that happens to all the green stuff in the image. Yeah, I thought that was all a lot of interesting stuff. And then last but not least, we have Melissa's work, and we have some portraits here. One of my favorite details, which you can't really see in these, but you can in the end here, is this. This is belt buckle with the. It just has some interesting details. You know, I'll wait until we actually look at it. But sort of adds an element to the overall thing. So some portraits. I feel like a lot of these are good. I feel like I do want to see the top of his head a little bit more. In some of these, it's really kind of getting cut off. I guess maybe more. This would be more like you just want to be able to see the top of the head. I feel like in these, which sometimes in images like in this, like that feels like it's like you chopped out the top of his head. Something like this is more like it, and it just really depends on sort of the overall image. Sometimes cropping into the top of the head is just fine, and sometimes it feels like cropped in, sort of like this. Well, obviously, like here. It's funny that you have your model talking on the phone. Now, is he flipping us off here? I don't know. But you get a real spectrum of emotions here. Yeah, some of these like this feels like the framing is a little bit off in a couple of these, where you can kind of see like the edge of your softbox or sort of the prop that he's standing on. But you do definitely get sort of a different idea about who this guy is. So now even here, I mean, obviously it's a prop that can be used. You either want it to look like this, where there's enough of it that you can see it is a prop that you intend to be there. But like this is like, it just looks like you wanted to crop it slightly differently. But let me get down to the bottom here, because I think there's some good stuff. And then that's like, I think, really pretty good lining on that. I do like the graphic element of his shirt. Alright, okay, so here now, if we get down in here, you can kind of see it in that last one here. Alright, and then you did the same thing. Now, a few people did this where they did a version based on what was in the lecture, and then a version based on what was in the textbook. I would say between the two, I can control what goes into the lecture. I have no control over which textbook is selected. So if you're not sure which one to go with, obviously you could do this, because there's a little thing called CYA, which stands for Cover Your Ass. Hope I didn't offend anyone with my crude language. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing a little CYA, with doing all versions, and then saying, okay, I've given you all the different things that you said you wanted. Hopefully one of them is the one that you want. If you really just like, okay, I only have time to do one version or the other, do the lecture version, I would say, unless it's just totally impossible. Like if it just doesn't make sense, then do the book version. But again, I do not, unfortunately, have any control over the textbook, because that just comes from the Art Institute. But I can control what goes into the lectures. And then, alright, see, this belt buckle, I thought this was a fun detail. It says redneck on it, and it has the, I guess, Confederate flag in America. Regardless of what you think about, North, South, all that stuff, Confederate flags, that obviously this is not a political debate or anything, but I like that as a detail, because I think that it gives you a little bit of something, like a little bit of insight into him and who he might be. So in that context, I think that's a fun detail, regardless of how you feel about what it may or may not signify. I don't know. Maybe I just removed enough from the whole thing that it just isn't an issue for me. But so again, we have the infrared from the lecture and the infrared from the textbook. It looks like you may miss a step from the lecture doing the infrared version here. I'm not sure which step you would have missed to cause this look. Possibly, I don't even know. But yeah, again, doing it both ways is a good thing because it shows that you're willing to do whatever it takes, whatever version it should be. This looks more like what the process looks like in the darkroom. This just looks like really contrasty with maybe like something like this, maybe showing in a little bit. But that doesn't really look very solarized to me. This looks solarized. Some partially inverted. Excuse me, can't speak today. Stuttering a lot. And partially not inverted. Sort of blended together. As far as infrared, I mean, I would say that the infrared textbook looks better, but you may have missed a step here because it looks very dark. All right, so yeah, overall I thought I saw a lot of good work out of you guys this week, and so this is the end of the video in honor of President's Day, which it is today as I record this. Please let me know that you watched the whole thing by including the word Lincoln in your post below. That's Lincoln as in Abraham Lincoln or Lincoln, Nebraska, spelled Lincoln. We could make some kind of reference to Honest Abe, I suppose. Either way, whatever whatever you're feeling, just some sort of fairly obviously Lincoln reference will let me know that you watched the whole video. All right, well, thank you guys. Nice work once again. Keep up the hard work, and I will see you, or you will see me rather, in the next video. All right.